That was terrible.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Fantasy Beer League, where you get half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm your host, Sean Joyce. With me, as always, is Harley-Davidson Club member Justin Giel, our resident fantasy football expert / No Shave November failure, Matt Senni, and this week's big loser, Andy Daniels. So, Justin.
Yeah.
How's the mustache feeling?
It's pretty good. I forgot to shave and my pants are purple.
Yeah, the Harley-Davidson joke didn't land as well when I looked at you and saw that you had a full beard today.
Yeah.
It's okay.
My bad.
It's all
I'll
good.
be back in form for
It's
next
all
week.
good. And Senni, why do you hate raising awareness for men's health issues?
Dude, so last week, you guys didn't say anything, and I went home.
I noticed.
I went home, and I was like, I can't believe they didn't say anything. Like, I literally had told multiple people, guys, I have to do it, and my friends are going to give me garbage about it.
Yeah, I waited.
So, yeah, no, I just can't stand being ugly, so I had to do it.
Okay. Well, at least Andy's still going strong in his No Shave November.
Yeah, look at that.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we draw this punishment for you?
Fuck the Titans.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
All right, Andy. Go ahead and reach your hand
Okay, I gotta press this button.
in the dreaded football. Yeah, push the button. Get ready for NFL on Fox. Let us know what that bad boy says.
I have to call my ex-girlfriend.
Not a fucking.
Are you going to do it?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I don't want to.
Oh, Andy is for the boys.
Yeah.
That's insane.
King.
That's
You
what.
gotta Photoshop a crown on his head right there.
I would pay hundreds of dollars. If that was the last punishment left, I would
I
just
know.
give you guys an
I thought
infinite
the
amount
same
of money.
thing.
No,
I
you know
wouldn't-
what? Honestly, I was the most scared for the shoey, but
Wow.
this is second worst, yeah.
All right. Well, props to you for doing it, Andy. You can go chill in the next
All
room.
right.
We'll call you back in when your time comes. Wait, before you go, actually, what are you drinking over there? I see you got a beer.
Oh, yeah. I'm drinking Don't Feed the Bulls from Bolero Snort. I believe it's in collaboration with Evergreen. It's pretty good.
Solid.
Nice.
I'll post a pic of that on our Instagram,
All right.
Fantasy Beer LG. Let's begin our football talk with the Bengals and the Washington football team.
The team.
The Bengals struggled against the Steelers on Sunday, but T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd continued their run of productive games with Joe Burrow. We saw a couple A.J. Green games throughout the season, but after another zero-catch performance, I think he's officially best left on waivers.
Oh yeah, I'd agree.
Who knows if Mixon will be back in time for this game, but his absence this past Sunday, we saw a fairly even split between Giovanni Bernard and Samaje Perine. If you were starting Bernard in place of Mixon, is seeing Perine lead the team in rushing yards a concern for you, Justin?
I think so. I thought Bernard would seem to benefit more without Mixon in the lineup, and to see him kind of get not as many touches is very concerning. Facing the Steelers, I kind of downgraded him a little bit just because I know they have a good rush defense. But yeah, it is definitely concerning.
I don't think it's that concerning. The first 2 weeks we saw without Mixon, he was pretty much a top 20 running back easily. I think he scored touchdowns. He was catching passes. You couldn't really ask for more from Giovanni Bernard as a backup. The Samaje Perine thing, I don't really buy that that's going to continue much longer. I think Bernard is more talented.
I'd agree, yeah.
So I think it's kind of fluky that he finished with fewer yards than his teammate. But hopefully Joe Mixon will just play so you don't have to worry about it either way. But I still think Bernard is a safer play, especially against the football team. What is going on with you?
I got something in my eye.
Do you need a second?
Oh, go ahead. I'll be all right.
All right.
Unless you're asking me a question.
Well, I'm going to ask you in a second, but I wish I asked you while you were doing all that. That would have been good content. Alex Smith and the Washington football team put up a ton of offense against the Lions on Sunday as he threw for 390 yards. Antonio Gibson, who scored 2 touchdowns, and Terry McLaurin, I believe, are weekly starters every week.
Yep.
But after totaling 7 catches for 43 yards on Sunday, is J.D. McKissick in that conversation as well, Justin?
I wouldn't say a weekly starter. I think it's kind of a flex play if you need him. I definitely think he offers more in the passing game than in the rushing game. Offers very little in the rush, so I maybe wouldn't do week to week, but kind of play him as you need him.
I like him a lot, actually. He had 15 targets this past week. He's got 10-plus points in 4 of his last 5 games. Mm-hmm. And Alex Smith throws the ball 2 yards down the field without fail every play.
Yeah.
He's a dink and dunk quarterback, so I really think J.D. McKissick has a ton of value. Not as much as Antonio Gibson, but a weekly flex play for sure. I'm picking the football team in a high-scoring game.
I'm going to go Bengals.
And I really can't think much of the Bengals after last week, and I know it's hard with who we're comparing them to, but I'm going to go with Washington.
Yeah, both suck pretty bad. But,
Exactly.
It's going to be a shitty game.
I think
Or a good game.
I think it's going to be a good game.
It could be a good game because they're both shitty.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about the Falcons and the Saints. The Falcons are coming off their bye, hopeful to get Calvin Ridley back. This offense is pretty good, and the defense is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I like pretty much all of the skill players on the Falcons. Is there anything you want to add to that, Justin? Maybe we should apologize to Todd Gurley?
No.
You don't want to?
Nope.
Okay. Well, he's scoring touchdowns like nobody's business, which I'm ashamed to say is one we got wrong.
He ain't scoring for me. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The efficiency is still definitely down with him,
Yeah.
but he's going to score every week because they're the Falcons. The Saints may be without Drew Brees this week. Actually, they are, actually. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed now. He has broken ribs.
And punctured lung.
Collapsed
lung.
But yeah, I think he's definitely not active this week. Without him in the lineup, how do you view the offense to look under Jameis Winston?
I think it might take a game or two to finally get kind of clicking, but Jameis has always been a gunslinger. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a good fantasy quarterback, and I think he's fun to watch.
I actually think the Saints, pass catchers might have more value with Jameis Winston under center because he's not afraid to throw. Like you said, he spreads the ball. He doesn't spread the ball. He chucks the ball deep.
Yeah, he's just kind of close his eyes and throw it down there.
I'm much more excited to see this offense under Jameis Winston. I'm tired of seeing fucking slants and screens to Alvin Kamara all the time.
Yeah.
Fuck the Saints. Go Falcons.
I'm going to go Falcons, too.
Yeah, fuck the Saints.
Yeah, fuck the Saints. Alvin Kamara had, 15 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns?
Michael Thomas didn't do jack shit.
Yeah,
so
fuck the Saints. Okay. Moving on, we're going on to the game of the week, the Steelers and the Jags. Coming off a game in which Big Ben threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and all 3 Steelers receivers scored a touchdown. How do you feel about their matchup with the Jags, Justin?
I like it. Jags don't look good. Steelers look really good. I think the Steelers' skill players get a little bit of a boost, and with the Jags, I think their skill players kind of get downgraded a little bit.
I don't know about the second part of what you said, but I agree with the first part. Steelers' offense I expect to be really good this week. The Steelers' defense has loosened up a bit against the pass, especially. They're still one of the best in the league against the run, but
they haven't been the whole year. They haven't been super great against the pass.
No.
So I think probably Chark and Keelan Cole.
It's hard. Keelan Cole and I think Laviska Shenault if he plays.
Yeah, but you look to see what the Steelers did against a rookie quarterback in Joe Burrow, who I think is a lot better than Lutton.
Yeah, and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd still had nice games. I'm not talking about starting Jake Lutton. I'm talking about starting the receivers. But anyway, the question I want to ask you is, should fantasy managers feel concerned about starting James Robinson this week against the tough Steelers defense? Okay, I don't either. He's too good. I think he's matchup proof, and even when they're down, he still catches passes.
Gets the ball, yeah.
So all that being said, I'm going to go with an upset this week. I'm taking the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going Steelers.
Dude, last week I expected the upset, but it's the Jags, and they just aren't playing well enough for me to go against the Steelers this week.
Yeah, and the Jags almost beat the Packers last week. So
I know, and you know what? You'll end up being right.
Yeah.
Because we're due.
Yeah.
I just can't see it.
Well, I'm
going
to pick against the Steelers until I am right, because
And
they have to lose eventually.
I want them to
fair.
lose before the playoffs.
Oh.
I don't want their first.
Yeah,
loss to
I
go
would
playoffs.
hate to be undefeated going to playoffs because that's just too much pressure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Next, we're going to talk Patriots and Texans. Senni, what's the name of the Patriots starting running back?
I know that I know this too, but the Patriots are so bad that I don't really think about them.
They beat the Ravens.
Yeah, they came off a good win this week.
Can't think of it.
Damian Harris.
Yeah, I would have never got that.
He's
You knew that you knew it, though.
No, you know what? As I thought about it, I said, wait, didn't I say last week that the Patriots, the only person that I know is Cam Newton? So
You
that's
did.
what made me say, yeah, I like the Patriots enough to watch them.
Yeah. Well, Damian Harris is the clear lead back in that offense now. He has eclipsed over 100 yards in 2 of his last 3 games. Easy for me to say. What is his value going forward, Justin?
Thought I had to burp. Yeah,
I did.
Pass it
You
off
passed
to
it
you.
off, yeah.
Portal. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope, but go. Oh, actually, yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Blue and orange.
Yep, I know what you're talking about now.
I think Harris is definitely the best back on this team. But I think he's similar to Jacobs. He can get the yards, but I think he doesn't have much. Yeah, I know I fucked up.
Just joking.
He doesn't. I don't think he has much value unless he's scoring the touchdowns.
Yeah, he's definitely a true running back. He's not catching the ball.
Yeah.
You need him to have 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. So I agree. His value is definitely capped.
Yeah.
He's a great runner though. He looks awesome.
Yeah, he does look
real
good.
life football, but in terms of fantasy, bit of a risky play, I think. More of a flex than anything, in my opinion. Jacoby Myers had another nice game and continues to be the focal part of the passing game. So I believe he's the only safe starting option going forward. I have him as like a wide receiver 2-ish, maybe wide receiver 3 going until I tell you otherwise.
Was he the one that threw the touchdown?
He did throw a touchdown.
Nice ball.
It was a beautiful ball.
It's your favorite guy.
I hate Rex Burkhead. I hate the Patriots. The Texans came up, not as much as I hate the Saints. The Texans came up short in poor conditions against the Browns on Sunday and looked to get their offense back on track. I'm not worried at all about Cooks or Fuller V, but Duke Johnson totaled only 54 rushing yards in filling in for David Johnson. Is there a concern here, Justin?
I don't know. The Browns have a tough rush defense, so I think you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But to your point last week, I know you mentioned that if David Johnson wasn't going, you're starting Duke Johnson. I think you could probably feel comfortable starting him against the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I wish I didn't, because if I started either of my other running backs, I would have beaten you in this league.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's showbiz. But anyway, yeah, and Duke Johnson, I think not catching a pass on Sunday is fluky. He's always been a pass-catching back, so it's kind of surprising to see him not catch a ball. Yeah. I think that had more to do with the weather than anything else.
Yeah, it was really shitty weather.
Yeah, so I still think Duke Johnson is an RB2 this week.
He's got a cool name. I like Duke.
The Duke. It's like the original name for, there's a football nickname. Yeah, the Duke.
Maybe that's why his parents named him that.
I doubt it, but it's possible.
I'll call him up.
Yeah, maybe Vince can find that out for us. We'll see. Anyway, I'm taking Houston to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Houston.
I'm not starting Deshaun this week, so I'm going with New England.
Wow. Strong faith in the Patriots. They're not very good at defense.
Yeah, but Herbert's playing the Jets.
Oh, Herbert. Oh, okay. If you have Herbert, yeah, for sure. Next, we have the Eagles and the Browns. The Eagles lost to the Giants on Sunday. And while I'd love to talk about that game,
right?
you were the only one. Well, I'd love to talk about it all day. And great pick, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that game. It was great. Anyway, Miles Sanders returned to action on Sunday and totaled 13.5 fantasy points. But he did see teammates Boston Scott and Corey Clement vulture touchdowns from him. I'm not concerned about this at all. Mm-hmm. I think those points are going to go to Miles Sanders more often than not. But it is annoying that they decided to get those guys involved after Sanders returned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think, that Boston Scott touchdown was long. There aren't going to be very many plays like that. And then the Clement goal line play. I don't see this being a trend. I still love Miles Sanders. Recent breakout Travis Fulgham was held to just 1 catch on 5 targets, though, Justin. Do you believe that is a concern?
I don't think so. It's an outlier. It's the only game this year, I'm pretty sure, that he started that he didn't score double-digit points.
Mm.
I still think he's Wentz's favorite target when Ertz isn't in the lineup.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with you because it's a super small sample size, but they are getting healthier at the position. Mm-hmm. It's something to monitor going forward. I'm not nervous about it yet, but if it happens again this week, I might start to be a little concerned.
Yeah.
The Browns got Nick Chubb back on Sunday, and he appeared to be as good as ever, totaling 126 yards and a touchdown.
He's still a scumbag.
Because he ran out of bounds?
I was just going to ask Vince, would I have won if he scored that touchdown? Nick Chubb? What was the point difference?
Our point difference was, I think it was like 8 points.
So you wouldn't know.
Yeah, he's still a scumbag.
I thought it was a smart play. Shouldn't have gone out of bounds.
Nah, he should just knelt down.
Yeah, but it's the right call. The only way you can lose is if he scores. But anyway, his teammate Kareem Hunt also went over 100 yards in that game, and both had exactly 19 carries. So it's great to see that both these running backs hold fantasy value, but is there any pass catcher on this team that you can start, Justin?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't either.
I mean, unless you consider Kareem Hunt a pass catcher, but...
No, he's a running back, but I mean, that's part of his game is catching the ball. So yeah, I think those two are the guys you're starting. I don't feel good about anybody else. They love running the ball. So, I mean, those are the two. You only want to start the running backs. Either one is startable. I think the Browns are going to win. Also, fun fact, Baker Mayfield became the winningest quarterback at CenturyLink Field on Sunday. They've been playing there since 1999. Before him, Ben Roethlisberger had the most wins on that field. Not even a home quarterback.
I love that.
It's maybe one of the funniest things
the best
I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are you picking?
I'm going Browns.
So am I.
All right.
The Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, probably. Next up, Lions at the Panthers. I want to take a second to applaud the Lions for finally freeing DeAndre Swift. Last week, he totaled 21 touches for 149 yards and a touchdown. Can we trust him now, finally? Thank God.
I think so.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson had only 5 touches, and the ghost of Kerryon Johnson had just 1. So I feel good about it. Yeah. I think they're finally being smart. All right. Good for you, Matt Patricia. You did something right. For the Panthers, they're expected to be without CMC and potentially without their starting quarterback. Senni, who is the starting quarterback in Carolina?
Because it's so funny because like I have so many of the receivers on rosters that I know who they are. I'm blanking.
No.
And
clue?
I watched the game this week too.
Can I give him a hint?
No. Well, if you agree to give it to Justin, Justin can give you a hint.
Okay. Doesn't have to. I really know that I watched this game and still can't think of it.
So if he gets it right, I get the ice?
Yeah.
All right. Think of like a child's toy.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, that didn't help me. Oh, his first name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, his name's Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy bear.
I got you now.
Yeah, I knew who he was. I didn't know he was like their quarterback.
Yep, he's their quarterback. His MRI came back clean, so there's a chance he's able to play in time for this game, but at least we know it's not super serious. But if he's unable to go, Justin, how do you view this offense?
I think he gets downgraded a little bit. I mean, PJ Walker's got a good connection with Anderson.
XFL superstar.
Yeah. But I don't know that he can throw the ball downfield, so I think it's going to be a lot of those short dump-off passes. So, yeah, not big plays, but could be potential for a lot of catches and maybe some yards after catch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens if that's the case. The only thing that I want to make a note of, because I don't really know that it'll make a big difference. I don't think it's the difference maker if you're thinking about starting one of those guys. I don't think it should factor in either way.
I mean, it's not factoring into my start.
But I wanted to make a note of Mike Davis. He's been under 9 points in 4 straight games now.
Yep.
I'm fading him this week, especially if Teddy Bridgewater isn't able to go. I'm going to take the Lions to win.
I'm going to go Panthers.
I'm going to go Lions.
All right. Next, we have the Titans tighten up at the Ravens. The Titans got smacked around by the Colts on Thursday night, but Derrick Henry still managed over 100 rushing yards. A.J. Brown, however, recorded just 1 catch for 21 yards. Are you at all concerned by this, Justin?
It's the first game that he hasn't scored. I don't think it's the first game that he hasn't scored a touchdown, but, I mean, it's the first time he hasn't scored double-digit points.
First, he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1, when he's been active.
When he's been active, yeah. I'm not concerned.
I wouldn't
the Colts
be.
got a good defense. I'm not super concerned about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned either. This is another pretty tough matchup, I think, with the Ravens secondary. But yeah, I mean, he's been phenomenal. There's no reason to be worried about him. Do the Ravens have anyone you can start other than Lamar Jackson? Mark Andrews led the team in targets, catches, and yards last week. He finished with 7 for 61. But do you feel good about him? Do you feel good about anybody else?
Maybe Andrews, but nobody else I'm really comfortable in starting.
Yeah, tight end is such a shallow position. We talk about it all the time. Travis Kelce's really the only one that gets you good numbers.
Yeah.
Darren Waller gets you solid numbers. He doesn't score that many touchdowns. But after that, it's just a total anybody that can score. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Andrews is the only other one you can start. But it's hard. You can't feel good about it if you are. I'm going to take the Ravens to win.
I'm going to go Titans. Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Wow, tightening up. Let's get into Thirsty Thursday. My pick for fantasy MVP, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals take on the Seahawks in what I expect to be another fun, high-scoring game. We saw what Murray and Hopkins are capable of against the Bills last week, and it's just not fair for those two guys to be that good at football. They're very good at football.
Yeah.
Hashtag analysis. Nook. Da bomb.
Nook.
It's funnier that you're wearing the glasses while you're saying that. You just look like the whitest person in the world.
Yeah. I got my Union fucking hoodie on.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake ran for over 100 yards last week, and given how historically bad the Seahawks have been on defense this season, I actually like him in this matchup.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk is another guy I like that I'm usually pretty low on, and even Chase Edmonds I think is a good flex play just because he's been so efficient with his touches. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win the game, though. The beer I'm drinking today is called Stillwater is Nothing, Big Bunny is Everything. It's a double milk stout from Stillwater, brewed with a collab with Arizona Wilderness Brewing.
Yeah, it sounds right.
I think that's right. I can't read with the sunglasses on. It's really hard.
I got mine.
If you want to try, you got your peepers on. I'm going to take a sip. I'll describe the flavor
Arizona
to you.
Wilderness. Big Bunny.
Big Bunny. Well, it tastes like a Big Bunny. It's super sweet, super smooth. Hides the ABV a little bit. It tastes almost like chocolate milk.
What's it at?
8.5, I think. Again, I just told you I can't read. But yeah, it's pretty solid. So I suggest buying it. It's around locally. We struggle to find beers from Arizona, but this one seems to be around pretty accessibly. Can you stop staring at it so I can talk to you?
Yeah,
Thanks.
go ahead.
Okay.
8.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we spent all the time doing that.
Yep.
So I said I'm going to take the Seahawks. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I
so
got
why
you.
don't you tell me about the Seahawks? Tell me what you're drinking and who you think is going to win the game.
Sure. Seahawks did not look great offensively last week. Russell struggled tremendously. We mentioned earlier in a group chat that this could be kind of a hindrance on his MVP kind of candidate, but
He's got no shot anymore.
yeah, I don't think he does. And I was big on him. I was pulling for him, but I think they're going to bounce back. I think we're going to see a big game from Metcalf. Might see some touchdowns out of Lockett. Those 40-point games that he could be putting up.
Yeah.
I don't know who's getting the nod in the backfield, but I think I'd be comfortable starting whoever it is. I am drinking Dark of the Moon from Elysian in Seattle. It's a pumpkin stout with chocolate and cinnamon. You get all the flavors. You get the chocolate, you get the cinnamon, you get the pumpkin, get a little bit of coffee. Nice dark color. I'm a big fan of this. But I too am going with the Seahawks.
Okay. One thing I want to say is that I would not feel comfortable starting a running back on this team because we saw DJ Dallas the last 2 weeks, and then on Sunday it was Alex Collins who got the majority of the work.
I didn't even know he was on the team.
Yeah. Great prep.
I just
yeah.
wrote Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, if Carson plays, obviously you're starting him.
Yeah.
And since Carson's been out, it's really been when Russell Wilson has shit the bed a bit. He's thrown a ton of picks, a lot of fumbles. But yeah, I think they bounce back. I agree with that part. Senni, why don't you tell us what you're drinking and who you think wins the game?
I can't read this on my head anymore. So I'm drinking Project Hop Dog from the Chamonix Creek Brewing. It's like one of my new favorite places to go. It's where I got the sweater from.
I was really hoping you weren't going to say it's your new favorite beer.
Oh, I know. Absolutely not. It's apparently made with like Sheets hot dogs, like, you know, like the store Sheets.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, do you remember what the statistic was for how many hot dogs are in this?
I think it's one hot dog per 50 gallons.
Yeah, well, that's still too
Still
many
too
hot
many.
dogs.
A lot of hot dogs.
Because it's basically like hot dog water. I don't hate it. I'm not gonna act like I dislike it, but I don't think it's great either. It's apparently very cheap. You can get a case for like $20. So if you ever just want like a cheap, like
Bad
hot
beer.
dog flavored beer, this is obviously your go-to.
What if you boil hot
And
dogs?
I am going to take Arizona.
Okay. What were you saying about boiling hot dogs?
What if you boil hot dogs in that beer?
That doesn't sound like a bad idea, actually.
Then drink the hot dog.
That sounds better than drinking the beer or eating hot
I
dogs.
don't hate it. I just don't love it either.
I didn't care for it. I've had good beers from the Chamonix Creek too, but
have I.
I'm not a fan
I wouldn't
of
put
that
this
one.
anywhere near the top of the list. That's
Yeah. Let's get into our late games. We have 4 of them this week. The Jets play the Chargers. Sam Darnold is supposed to be out for this game with a prolonged shoulder injury. Are you still starting Jamison Crowder with Joe Flacco under center, Justin?
I think I would. He didn't get a whole lot of yards last week. Ignore that. He didn't get a whole lot of yards last week, but he did get a touchdown. So he's still getting the looks in the red zone. And I still think he's the best player on that offense and probably the only one that you could even think to start.
Yeah, I agree. And it was his first game back from injury too, which I think
Again,
limited his availability as in terms of being a target. He was a bit of a game time decision even for that game. So now, coming off a bye, get a chance to be well rested. Hopefully he's all healed up. I feel pretty good about Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
Even in a matchup with a team that's pretty good at defense. The Chargers continue to be a solid fantasy team with Justin Herbert leading the offense. Last week we took a wait and see approach with Kalen Ballage. And against Miami on Sunday, he racked up 23 total touches for over 100 yards. #revenge game. Is it time to get him in our lineups, Justin?
I think so. I mean, it's still, and you don't know what Justin Jackson's going to do. I think they placed him on IR.
They did. So he's out at least another 2
2
weeks.
weeks. Yeah. So, but I mean, even still, I think Ballage has looked like the better back. So I'd be, at least in like the interim, I'd be comfortable starting him.
Yeah, until Justin Jackson returns,
Yeah.
I think. I still think Justin Jackson earned that job.
He did.
But yeah, he's been great. Another situation where you get away from Adam Gase and you start becoming a star. Troy Maine Pope was active for this game. He didn't get any fantasy points for you, so he barely played at all. And Joshua Kelly doesn't seem to be trusted by the coaching staff. All in on Kalen Ballage. It's going to be a Ballage a trois for you and I. I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm going to go Jets.
I don't know why you would do that.
The Chargers lose a lot.
I know they do, but I
I
don't know.
felt most safe picking the Jets this week than like maybe the one other time that I
compared to
picked
the
the
other
Jets.
teams, I don't know. I'm going to start Herbert in both my leagues, so I'm going to
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good move. Next, we have the Dolphins of the Broncos. Tua has proven to be a solid real-life quarterback. Not a great fantasy start. I think it's tough to trust a pass catcher with him under center. I mean, he's like more of a game manager. He's fine, but it's taking a toll on guys like Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
Who I think is really the only receiver you would have been starting comfortably every week anyway. As for the running game, though, Justin, we saw running back Salvin Ahmed. He led the team with 21 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. Is he worth rostering?
Rostering, yes. Starting, no.
Okay.
Just because I think when Gaskins comes back, I think that's going to be his job.
You would think so, yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I put him in an IR slot.
Yeah,
He was doing all right before he got hurt.
This guy came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Kept popping up on Red Zone.
And they released Jordan Howard. I'm going to take a quick second to look up Jordan Howard's stats because
They're laughable.
they are incredible. So just RIP to Jordan Howard on the Dolphins. Let's pull this up for you. I think Senni will like this too. So in the regular season, he had 28 touches for 33 yards
So bad.
and 4 touchdowns.
What? Wow.
My guy.
Wow.
RIP Jordan Howard. I regret talking about you in the preseason. You make me look like an idiot. Senni, for a chance to ice one of us before you drink your hot dog water, can you name for us one player on the Broncos?
The quarterback's name I think I know now. It's Locke.
Yeah. I was really hoping you get that one wrong because I asked you the same question last week.
No, because I actually think I made a point to know anything about them because I still don't care about them.
And
Yeah,
he
neither do
did
I.
awful. He had 4 picks.
I would have also remembered Noah Fant because I've heard you say that name 100 times.
Yeah. Okay, so which one of us are you choosing?
Andy.
Andy. Okay, Andy, get back in here.
I think Andy's over there doing work.
Oh, well.
Now he's drinking.
Now the important stuff happens. Is he going to be in frame if he sits in his old spot, Vince? Or
I can make that happen.
all right. Well, while you do that, I'm going to talk to Justin.
You didn't want to give him the peach Bellini?
Do you want to give him the peach Bellini?
We still have Peach Bellini?
Give me
We have a ton of peach Bellini.
Peach Bellini.
It's a peach Bellini.
I'm just going to keep saying it so it keeps popping up on the
I
screen.
just can't believe we even have that much.
Peach
yeah,
Bellini.
give him that.
Peach Bellini.
the amount of time I'm gonna have to put that on the screen.
I can't fucking wait for the peach Bellini. I'm just going to keep looking into the...
I'll try to count you down.
Oh.
I was counting to 3 for us to say it at the same time, and you looked away as I was counting. You. All right. Well, Drew Lock is questionable
Peach Bellini.
for this game
Again.
with a rib injury.
Yep, go ahead.
What value do Broncos skill players have if he isn't able to play this week?
I don't think much.
I don't think it's that much of a difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, well, okay. Well, I've never been big on Locke. I don't think he's looked that great, so I haven't been big on anybody on the team.
Good job, Andy.
Yeah, that was good. You can talk.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty bad lately.
Yeah.
The offense hasn't looked good.
No.
The running backs are tough to trust. No, Philip Lindsay has looked better, but he's had less touches. Melvin Gordon's been brutal, absolutely killing you if you needed him. No offense, like every other tight end in the league. Jerry Jeudy is the only guy that I would feel good about long term. I could see him having a strong second half to end the season.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can start him with high confidence either way. So all that being said, fins up. I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
I'm going with Tua.
Tua's gonna do it to him. Tua.
Dum, dum, dum.
Tua.
All right. God's left us. Go ahead.
Cowboys play the Vikings.
Yep.
Cowboys offense has been trashed the past few weeks,
Hell yeah,
but they're
they
expected to get Andy Dalton back this week.
Red Rocket.
Yeah, the Red Rifle. Red Rocket is a dog boner.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Do you think his return significantly boosts the value of Dallas's skill players, Justin?
I wouldn't say significantly, maybe a little bit. But it's going to be better than it was. You'd think. You'd have to think.
I think it's a huge difference. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott hasn't been good.
Yeah.
He's been awful with anybody but Andy Dalton since Dak got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Dalton, Dalton, he at least threw him the ball. He was still getting those short touches. Ben DiNucci and whatever the other guy's name is, Gilbert Gottfried, they didn't throw him like any passes. Amari Cooper's stayed okay through all of this, but I think everybody but Amari Cooper stands to benefit from Dalton coming back. Dalton still sucks, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't suck nearly as bad as these guys who shouldn't be in the NFL. I mean, Ben DiNucci.
Garrett Gilbert, that was the other guy.
Yeah, well.
He played for the Apollos.
Oh, did he? That's your team. That's
Yeah,
it
was my team.
That was AAF, right?
Yeah, the only team to ever win the championship in that.
Okay, yeah. Well, the season got cut short, so it's
What are you gonna do?
There's an asterisk in the record books.
Yeah,
The
that's
AAF
showbiz, baby.
record book.
You celebrated with peach bellinis.
Oh well, I'm not even gonna say the word again. I don't want to make Vince have to put Peach Bellini on the screen again. As for the Vikings, you're starting the big three.
Yep.
There's always a chance that Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson won't do anything, but there's always a chance they'll go off. It just depends on how they run.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a pretty bad game for Dalvin Cook last week, he still got you 15.2 fantasy points. And in a game against the Cowboys, who I don't think are particularly good at defense, I expect him to be dominant once again. Do you agree? Anything you wanted to add? Do you think this is going to be a pass-heavy game?
I think they're gonna just do everything all over Dallas.
Oh,
That sounds really weird.
all right. Well,
But
I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going Vikings too.
Okay. Next, we had the Packers and the Colts.
Do everything.
Packers offense continues to be. You couldn't have said that any weirder.
Yeah, well,
Do everything. Packers offense continues to be good at football, and I expect them to be good again, even in a tough matchup against the Colts. Last week, you dismissed MVS, Justin.
yep.
But after seeing him go 4 for 149 and a touchdown, are you changing your mind about him?
Nope.
Okay. I'm not either.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard got activated off of IR today, so there's a chance that he'll be back in time for the game. And he's very boom bust, so you can't trust MVS with any level of confidence. The Colts offense continues to be annoying as heck, and I'm not sure what the fuck to do with them anymore. How should we view their running backs this week, Justin?
I still don't know that I would trust them. Maybe the running backs this week, but I still don't know that I would trust anybody with confidence on that team.
I'm not again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
I've sort of rethought about the way that I rank their running backs.
Yeah.
I always like Jonathan Taylor the most. I think Naheem Hines has the most value. Even then, it's risky, like you said. There's no guarantee that he's going to have a big day. But I expect the Packers to be able to score, which means I expect the Colts to have to throw.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of like Naheem Hines.
Yeah.
But it could be a Jonathan Wilkins week. You never know with this team. It's very frustrating, hard to trust any of those running backs. A quick note, though, a name to monitor is Michael Pittman Jr. He's a guy I'm targeting on waivers this week in deeper leagues. He's a rookie. He has 11 catches for 157 yards over the last 2 games. And I think this game could turn into a shootout pretty quickly. I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah. Packers.
I want to say something real quick about the Packers. I was watching the game this weekend. I referred to Aaron Jones as 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
And then multiple times the people that I was watching it with when he got the ball said, there's 3rd overall pick. They said, I'm going to now say that with other people, and they're going to have no idea what I'm talking about.
Catching on, spreading the podcast, word of mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Green Bay.
Okay, very good. Let's get into Sunday Night Football.
We've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Senni, what have you been waiting all day for?
I'm waiting all day to talk about school subjects. Big shock to everybody, right?
Yeah, it's what I think about all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyone watching this realistically knows what I do for a living. So I'm going to try not to
Offend any of the other school subjects. But I was thinking, with everything being online right now, school is realistically the easiest it's ever been. And even if they're not acting like it is, it is. And I was thinking about like how difficult my class was compared to some other classes. And I genuinely maybe have a little bit of a different opinion. I think that math is one of the easier subjects. And I know that's
easy for me to say. And he's over here nodding because he's also a math nerd.
And
Well,
I think
you saw how big his forehead is. There's a lot of brain in there.
because I think that math is one of those things that once you know how to do it, you know how to do it, whatever. I think science and social studies are pretty fact-based. You memorize the information, you move on. But I honestly think English is the hardest subject. And
The weirdest people, too.
I
Majors.
yeah, anyone who's really good at writing or reading must be like a weird right?
Yeah.
So, and to be fair, I was in honors English and all that. I mean, I didn't write my senior term paper, which everybody knows by now.
Yep.
But
I just think that English is different because English is much more like opinionated. I feel like if you're doing the work and you don't have like the right opinions, I feel like you can't get as good of a grade. I feel like with an essay, if you actually write your essays and you don't like meet the teacher's expectations of writing, or you make like you're just not as like, writing is something that you have to actually be good at, and it's less like fact based. It's less like, oh, you got the right answer, move on. Like, you could write a paper and spend a lot of time on it and still get like a C.
Yeah.
And I think that sucks because I feel like, you guys may not know this, but like the national reading average is like a 4th or a 5th grade level.
Did not know
Really?
that.
I'm being dead serious.
I didn't know that, but I feel like it's not surprising.
Just to be clear, I've been told this multiple times. And I think that it's insane because we all assume English is easy because, like, we know how to read and we know how to write. Mm-hmm. But, like, if your average person can't read and write well, and I mean, with all all conversations are through text and Snapchat nowadays, nobody thinks that it matters to be able to read or write.
Right.
So I think that makes it just, like, significantly harder because, like, you guys haven't seen some of the things I've seen. Some people really don't know how to read and write.
I mean, reading resumes all day, I get a little bit of it, but it's not to the extent of being a teacher.
Yeah, and to be fair, I obviously see more math.
Yeah.
But any time that I have to grade anything written, I barely look at it. Because I don't think I'm qualified enough. That's why I really think English teachers have the hardest jobs in the world. Especially elementary school. Because I don't think I could teach kids how to read. I definitely couldn't teach kids how to write.
Yeah.
So, my personal opinion, I think English is the hardest. I know you're going to disagree.
Yeah, I do.
So, curious what all your opinions are on what you think the hardest school subject. Obviously, we're not counting culinary. We all know culinary is the hardest subject.
I was going to say gym.
Yeah.
Definitely the hardest to teach, gym class.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to teach unathletic kids to be athletic.
You don't have to teach them anything. They just have to wear their shirt. That's the entire thing, is get changed for class and you get an A.
So you're being facetious?
No, I'm being Sean Joyce.
But what do you think is actually the hardest? Like, what would you say is, like, the hardest subject?
Math.
Yeah, but see, like, I feel like you weren't bad at math.
I wasn't bad at anything, but I was really good at English. It was my strongest subject. So, I mean, that was obviously the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, math and sciences were my strongest subjects, so I would think they were the easiest. English, I would think, I don't know, I wasn't particularly bad at anything either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, English and social studies were my strongest subject.
I think social studies, personally, I think is the easiest. And I enjoyed it.
It's all memory.
Now, if I was giving you my honest answer, I would say physics is the hardest subject.
Yeah.
Because I'm really bad at physics.
Yeah.
I'll go with science because science includes math. There's math in science.
Yeah.
And science is a bunch of bullshit. It's awesome, but I can't fucking understand it.
All right, so you're obviously going to disagree, Andy. What do you think?
The hardest one for me would be English.
See?
Any sort of writing or reading and then answering questions like those, like, state comprehensive tests that we had sucked, dude.
NJ Ask.
I was so good.
Oh,
at that.
it's called NJSLA now. It used to be Park. And, I know that I did the worst on the reading section of the SAT. Because I don't like to read. So, like, that's probably part of it, right? It's the opposite side there.
Yeah.
Vince?
Probably statistics, because I took that class in college, and I still don't know how to factor in standard deviation. I googled every
Is that the Z-score?
You might as well be speaking another language to me at this point.
I think English overall was probably the toughest. I think the two toughest classes that I ever took were chemistry down at Rowan with Andy knows Dr. Misra.
Oh, yeah.
And then econometrics. But that's like a specialty. I don't want to say specialty, but it's like the last class that you can take as an econ major.
I just see it as, like, in college, I obviously didn't always get A's in math, but, like, if I didn't do well in math, like, I knew, like, okay, you have no clue what you're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
When I took, like, comp and, like, I took non-Western lit, like, I did end up getting an A in non-Western lit, but, like, if I didn't do well, I had no idea why. It was just like, hey, this isn't good enough, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel bad is, like, I feel like a lot of people in English class write papers, and those papers probably suck.
Yeah.
But, like, they don't know why they're not doing well. At least in math, they can say, like, oh, yeah, I got this wrong.
Yeah. So I don't know how to add instead of I don't know how to write.
Personal opinion. So to all you English teachers out there, you have the hardest job because not only are you trying to teach them how to read when they can't, but you have to read about 1,000 essays, and I could never do that.
That's the part that's hard, is reading people's shitty work. And then, I don't have time to tell you why you did it wrong.
Yeah.
It's good for them that they do.
Like, bro, it was boring. I've
had good English teachers and bad English teachers, so I agree with you in that aspect. But it's always been, it was natural for me. It was always easy for me to write.
Yeah, everyone feels different.
So, and math was easy when I took time and understood it.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't just do math without thinking. I could write without thinking. So, I'm lazy.
Well, even me, I'm not Andy, so can't all be as smart as Andy.
No. Well, you have to get your head extended.
Andy and I took a class together, and I dropped that class. So we already officially know that Andy Daniels is smarter than me.
That's how it goes.
That professor was the worst I've ever had.
I took the same class at BCC in the summer, and I got an A. So
And
teaching makes a difference.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, teachers make a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to football.
Oh, yeah.
Chiefs take on the Raiders on Sunday night. Honestly, I don't even know what to talk about with the Chiefs.
They're good.
They're good. Anything else? Start them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the guys like, a DeMarcus Robinson, a Mecole Hardman, and you're on the field with Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance to score. So if you're desperate, they might get you 0, they might get you 20.
Yeah.
As for the Raiders, are there a pass catcher other than Waller you'd feel comfortable starting this week, Justin?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs. I don't think they're going to lose twice to the Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Oh.
I like the Raiders,
So,
and I honestly just keep thinking about the Chiefs are going to ruin my postseason.
Yep.
So, I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I can understand your frustration with the Chiefs. Yeah, we'll see what happens. They beat them the first time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, though.
On Monday night, we have the Rams and the Buccaneers. The Rams' offense has largely been frustrating for fantasy managers this season, as the running back situation has been a total crapshoot. And Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp have been more high-floor players than guys that are going to explode for you. They have limited ceilings. They're not really breakout stars. On Sunday, Josh Reynolds led the team in targets, receptions, and yards as he finished with 8 catches for 94. Is he the receiver fantasy managers want, Justin?
I don't know. Like you mentioned, it's been a frustrating year, so I don't know that there's anybody that I would particularly want. I think he's good enough to keep on the radar, but I don't know that he would be like a standout for me.
Yeah, he's still the third receiver on the team, in my opinion. And Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp haven't been great.
Yeah.
But they haven't been brutal any week either. There's been a couple bad games, but they haven't really had, 2 points or 0 points. So, you're getting 10 from these guys. I know it's not what you drafted them to be, but they're still serviceable. They're still startable.
Yeah.
I'm still starting both of those guys. For the Buccaneers, we saw Ronald Jones 2 explode on Sunday for 192 yards and a touchdown. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown all had double-digit fantasy points against Carolina. How do you view these wide receivers against the Rams on Monday?
I think you're going to need to temper expectations because the Rams defense is a lot better. I think Jalen Ramsey held DK Metcalf to 2 catches for a minimal amount of yards. So I think that's something to watch. But Brady had a bounce back game, and I think he knows how to pull apart defenses. So I think he's going to find a way to get his receivers the ball.
I think this is a week to fade Mike Evans. Mike Evans largely plays on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey is probably going to shadow him.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey is good at football.
Yeah, he is.
Analysis. I'm going to go with the Rams.
I'm going to go Bucks.
I'm also expecting a lot less from the Bucks in terms of the skill players, but I do want to go with the Bucks to win.
All right. Well, the time has come, boys.
I'm nervous.
I feel very anxious about this punishment. I think this is the worst one.
Yeah.
So
it should have been a season
I think it's
ender.
by far the worst one.
So props to you, Andy, but you have your script. Let's make this call.
All right.
Hold the phone up to the mic, right, Vince, so that everybody can hear the conversation.
Here, I gotta make sure I got the note up with what I have to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
and we have to be quiet while this happens. So once we hear that ring,
I need to take a moment here.
yeah,
need to
take
take
as
a
many
moment.
moments as you need. I'm nervous for you, man.
My watch is going to tell me to cool down.
I'm just hoping she doesn't answer.
Yeah. It's gonna be so awkward if this goes to voicemail, but it's gonna be awkward if she picks up too. My heart is beating.
Mine is too. And I'm not even you.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, I know it's been a while, but you've come up in my thoughts recently. I miss you, and there's something that I really need to say. I got punished in fantasy football, and I had to make this call, and the whole first half of this call was a lie. You think it was awkward for you, but yeah, okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I think that was handled very well.
Oh my god.
I was not expecting an answer. I did not think
I
for
was
a
like, oh,
second you
I
were
think
getting
they
an
handled it
answer.
very well. I
Dude,
think
when
that
I
could
heard
have
her
been a
laugh,
worse.
I was like, he's fine.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
I was like, wow.
Well,
Exhale.
that'll do it for this week's episode of the Fantasy Beer League. Holy crap, my heart is pounding.
Yeah,
I can
dude.
only imagine how you feel.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, we'll be with you every Wednesday on YouTube with audio-only podcasts available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pandora. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the handle FantasyBeerLG. Those are the words Fantasy Beer and the letters L and G. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm Sean Joyce. He's Justin Giel. Special thanks to Andy Daniels for coming on and doing that. That was you have the biggest balls of anybody in this room by far.
Yeah, he is.
And here's Matt Senni with his advice of the week.
If for some reason you ever have to talk to an ex-girlfriend, try to be at least as charming and good-looking as Andy Daniels.
Oh, that's the best advice you
Yeah,
can give.
that is the best advice.
Thank you for watching. Good luck in week 11.